Hey, he's going, everybody. Dusty Bogan here. Welcome to fucking Friday morning in Australia. That's how stupid I am. YouTube's running in the background. Anyway, Tommy Robinson's in the lockup. Once a bloody again. Know what I mean? Can you bloody believe it? Not really. I guess we thought it was going to happen, eh? That's how corrupt the system is. Bunch of scum. Anyway, I got a few articles I thought we would hook in and bloody talk about it. Look in. I was reading this. The Guardian. The Guardian are full dodge left-wing journalists anyway. Let's read the article. Tommy Robinson given 9 months jail sentence for contempt of court. Far-right activist will serve 10 weeks after being found guilty of breaching reporting ban. So I reckon, he'll definitely be able to survive 10 weeks. Oh, Tommy, lad, you'll be right. He can, knuckle on pretty good. I've seen videos with Tommy Robinson and he's fighting 5 guys and walks away without a scratch. He's pretty tough. Tommy Robinson has been given 9 months prison sentence, of which he'll serve about 10 weeks after he was found guilty of contempt of court and an early hearing. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. So this is the thing. All these journalists use his real name because they want him to be doxed. They want people to go and find out where he lives and fucking, they want him to be killed, essentially, or something like that. You know what I mean? Broadcast reports that the broadcast reports that encourage vigilante action and unlawful physical aggression against defendants in a sexual exploration trial, according to judges who found him guilty last week. And they found him guilty yesterday, 10 hours ago. So fucking stupid. Supporters of the former leader of the far right English Defence League reacted angrily on Thursday after news of the sentence filtered through the crowd outside Old Bailey. I don't even know what that is. Maybe that's like that High Court where police drew batons and wore riot helmets. I reckon bottles were held at them. That's what you get, mate. The crowd then marched to Parliament Square where police intervened after journalists were threatened and verbally abused before some congregated near the office of the Attorney General, who had given the application to have Robinson committed to prison. Jeez, man. Interesting looking crowd. Not all of them are British ancestry. So even the immigrants are backing him. A 50-year-old man was arrested outside Westminster for offences of affray alleged to have been committed outside the Old Bailey last Friday when Robinson was convicted. Back. Yeah. 2 other men and 2 women were also arrested on Thursday in connection with alleged offences last week. What were they doing? Rioting going off, eh? Bet you if Antifa or any of these left-wing groups they just let them trash cities and burn down buildings and cars, and they just get nothing. They bash people and they don't even arrest any of them. Passing sentence on Thursday. Dame Victoria Sharp said of Robinson, he has lied about a number of matters and sought to portray himself a victim of unfairness and oppression. I think Tommy's right. You know what I mean? This does not increase his sentence, but it does not mean that there can be no reduction for an admission of guilt or for contrition or for remorse. Anyway, he reckons he's going to appeal it, Tommy reckons, from inside jail. Hopefully it's like 10 weeks of solitary confinement and he does what he did last time and he gets out. You know what I mean? Robinson, 36, from Lutton and Balford Shire, had denied breaching a reporting ban by live streaming footage of defendants airing at court. He insisted he had only referred to information already in the public domain. After reduction for time served, the sentence will amount to 19 weeks, of which he will serve half before being released. Robinson flashed a V, the victory sign, to the public gallery upon hearing the sentence, and later winked as he slung a bag over his shoulder and was led away by prison officers. Fucking yeah. What a legend. And that's an article written by The Guardian, who are just like mutants. How's going, everybody? Cool cat. Yeah. My mate, I'm getting my tomorrow we're going to a medieval festival, so I'm going to take my filming gear. But yeah, I left my dusty bogan hat in my mate's car when we went on a hunting trip. So this is my buddy. This is my substitute. You know what I mean, man? Know what I mean? This will do. The old Ren and Stimpy hat, mate. Brilliant news. We're all celebrating tonight. I guess, what are we celebrating? That he only got, really, he's only got 10 weeks. So he's going to survive that for sure. I was reading another interesting article. I'll keep this one short. Tommy Robinson. Get this. This was an interesting article written by the BBC. They've like just put this out like 2 hours ago or something. A small crowd surrounded a mobile screen on a Bringington Council estate in Stockport. They've gathered to hear Tommy Robinson, who wants to become the member of the European Parliament. He says he speaks for them, standing up against the elites in politics and the media. He does. He's a man of the people. They don't live where we live. They don't experience what we experience, he said. But while Tommy Robinson was rousing the clutch of onlookers in his depraved corner of Greater Manchester. So get this, they're trying to undermine Tommy. This is what I liked about this article. Was it BBC? BBC, mate. While Tommy was rousing the clutch of onlookers in this deprived corner of Greater Manchester, his 4-bedroom country home was on the market for £900,000. The estate agency picture show a Range Rover parked on the driveway, a hot tub in the garden, and a TV above the bath. The property remains on the market, but Robinson Home will be a prison cell for the immediate future. On Thursday, he was jailed for 9 months after being found guilty of contempt of court. So what they say, maybe when he gets released after 10 weeks, he's on probation for a bit. Maybe that's why they're saying he's in a home arrest. Who gives a crap if the dude's house is worth £900? £900,000. Almost $1 million. And he has a Land Rover. Good on him, mate. He's the one who's gone out and bloody got amongst the bloody action. He's the one who's been sent to prison a few times now for fucking telling the truth of what the hell's going on in his neck of the woods. Anyway, let's read this. As he was taken to the cell, Robinson winked to a supporter sighting in the public gallery. Yeah, he'd be all good, mate. His crime had been to live stream via Facebook footage of defendants arriving at court in a sex grooming trial. They should have said a child sex grooming trial. A pedophile grooming gang. It doesn't get worse than that, does it? This is the extent of the the clown world, the upside down kingdom, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening here? They're kind of protecting these fucking pedophile grooming gangs in a way. Where was I? Where was I, man? I lost myself. Yeah, okay. The action, a direct challenge to the mainstream media, jeopardised the court case and broke the cornerstone rule of English justice that guarantees a fair trial. So they're saying his live stream on Facebook jeopardised the a fair trial, which I don't understand how that's the case. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, hates the mainstream media. So does everyone. Everyone's waking up to this. It's because he says they lie about him and conceal the truth about Islam, sexual grooming gangs, and the forgotten people of England. I totally agree, Tommy. As he says these things, we swerve from apparent outrage to cheeky jokes. That's why people love him. Help me, he asked his followers. I speak to you. There's some, you can go to Tommy Robinson, was it TR News? I think there's somewhere you can donate to him. I might chip him $1. You know what I mean? Last week outside the courthouse where he had been found guilty, he repeated the rhetoric, flashing a winning smile to a crowd who chants his name. I, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. How good's this song on Telegram? I have it as my ringtone. Pardon me. Just woke up after Thirsty Thursday. I'm a bit dusty. Almost drank a whole bottle of moonshine last night. So this is the cool part of this article that I like. It kind of tells you about Tommy's life and get an understanding why the guy's got a $900,000 house, because he's been quite successful. An apprentice engineer. This is what Tommy Robinson, when he was a young lad. Tommy Robinson, a married father of 3, that always contributes to men's wealth, getting married and settling down. Grew up in London, Bedfordshire. His double-barreled surname evolved from his natural father leaving home and his mother's second husband stepping in to raise the two-year-old. He won a prize place as an apprentice aircraft engineer at London Airport. So he must be pretty switched on to be an aircraft engineer. I got a few mates. I got a mate who's an aircraft engineer, an African Australian dude. He's a full patriot too. And looked set for a successful career until it came crashing down after a drunken night out. Yaxley Lennon had got into a fight with a man who turned out to be an off-duty police officer, and he was jailed for 1 year. Damn. That's hard out. So he's already been to jail for that, and for what he already done a 10-week stint, and he's got another 10-week stint going again. On his release, he went back to his old life of drinking and messing around with his football mates. But he also worked very hard alongside his father as a plumber. He earned a good living renovating properties before selling them on. He opened a tanning salon in Luton, times were good. So this is why he's got a $900,000 house. He's done all right for himself. You know what I mean? Obviously, pretty switched on. He also nurtured a growing interest in politics, driven by his perception of what was happening in his hometown. The extremist Algem blah blah blah. I can't pronounce this. An Arabic name. The Al fucking Muhammad network, whose followers have been at the center of numerous terrorism plots, had a power base in Luton. Luton, I don't know how you say it. It's debatable whether Yaxley Lennon would have become Tommy Robinson had they not been on his home turf. Yaxley Lennon and his friends were concerned that police were doing little to nothing to combat the threat of radical Islam on their streets. In March 2009, let me scroll down just a wee bit, you know what I mean? In March 2009, this Muslim activist group disrupted a homecoming parade of Royal Anglican Regiment Anglian Regiment soldiers returning from Afghanistan. They called soldiers murderers, and the incident made national news. Yaxley Lennon and his football friends had organized a counter demonstration. The result were some clashes in the town and the creation of the English Defence League. Tommy is a legend. He's just like a pioneer. The guy seems pretty cool. He got something saying he was, what did he win? A award for an apprentice, engineer apprentice. He won some award as like an awesome engineer apprentice. Yeah, then he went to jail for getting a punch on with a cop, off-duty cop. He gets out, he works for his old man's plumbing business, and he starts flipping properties and finding a bit of financial success. And then he starts his own tanning salon. So the guy's a bit of a he's a bit of a bloody entrepreneur, having a crack. Good on him, man. And then he starts the English Defence League. What an absolute legend. Yaxley Lennon and his closest confidants realised they could build support for their cause across Britain by using Facebook. There was no membership list and no clear aim, only a desire to take on radical Islam. According to Yaxley Lennon in his self-published autobiography, it would be the start of years of mad laughs with the lads. As media attention grew and he emerged as the EDL de facto leader, he needed a fake name. At first, he called himself Wayne King, a schoolboy joke he initially he got away with on a radio interview. Ultimately, he borrowed the name of the organizer of Luton Town's football hooligan firm, Tommy Robinson. It stuck. What a bloody legend, man. What a top bloke. Oh! We'll get back in the comment section here for a minute. And then we'll continue reading the article. Nick Spence, thanks for the $2, bro. Usually I do neck a shot for anyone who donates for me. Is it too early to neck a shot? You know what I mean, man? Fuck it, I'm gonna go neck a shot. Give me a second. Jeez, I put a dent in the bottle from last night. Has a shot in the morning. It's 10 to 9 in the morning. Black Lungs is driving me around today. Bang. Anyway, thanks, mate. God bless you, Nick. $2 shot first thing in the morning. Good thing I already ate fucking breakfast. We doing shots. That a boy better than coffee. Amen. We're doing shots for Tommy, mate. Never fucking. We're turning our sorrows into bloody joy. Know what I mean? Was there any other bloody comments in there? Lol, did you ever stop streaming last night? No, he's still going. I wish. Holy fuck. Never too early never too early to neck a shot, bud. Here's a couple more on me. Oh fuck, this is gonna be a long day. Where have I gotta go? I got a few things to do. Black Lungs is driving. Good thing I make my own. Oh shit, that's all. That's my last. There's only a half a shot left in there. Cheers, boys. Woo! For Tommy Robinson. Fuck. Ugh. Ugh, fuck me. Thanks, boys. Ugh. Norseman 325. I'm downing another shot, bro. We live in the dream on planet Earth right now. It's Friday for the bogan. You'll be fine. Amen. I'll be fucking fine. I don't have work today, so I'm laughing. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning here. It's 8:52. Welcome to the bogan life world. Tommy Robinson be proud of me. Anyway, where was I in this article? Yeah. In September of that year, Robinson complained to the BBC News of town centres plagued by Islamic extremists. Those are our town centres, and we want them back. Amen. So I'll tell you, when I was a young lad, I used to play basketball with my Muslim mates after school, and they were sharing their faith about fucking Muhammad and the Prophet with me, like every day, and I was interested to listen. But one day they were like, "Yeah, the imam or some leader's going to come down and share with us about Allah and all this stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, no worries, I'll listen." And it was 2 minutes into the conversation, this fucking Muslim dude, he was like I think he was Fijian Indian. He was he was of Pakistani heritage, but I think he came from Fiji. Maybe he used Fiji as like sometimes these people migrate to New Zealand or other countries to get into Australia. Anyway, this dude was nuts. He had bloodshot eyes. He was like raging, frothing at the mouth. In 2 minutes in the conversation, he was supposed to come down and share his faith with us, and he couldn't help himself. It took 2 minutes, and the guy was like, "There's going to be blood on the streets. We're going to take over." And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, mate? I was an atheist back then. I'm like, didn't Jesus say, love your enemies? I'm like, what's going on with that, dude? So that was that's my personal experience with some fucking nutcase Muslims. And God, I've only got that much left. Norseman 325. It's not even half a shot. I'd have to run upstairs and get more, just a wee little quarter shot. Bang. That bottle's done from last night now. Guspo back into the groove of things. Anyway, my experience with Muslims, since then I had became a Christian, but here's the thing, right? I have converted a few Muslims in my day. We ran a local youth group and we had heaps of young Muslims coming to our youth group. Heaps of from Eritrea, which is like near Ethiopia. And them young lads, well, they didn't convert, but they came to church and they'd read. I'd be like, "Here, boys." I'd give them Bibles. I'd be like, "Yeah, you can read. You don't mind reading, mate?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I'll read." And I'd read the scripture. They'd even pray. That even when we'd have music, we'd have like mosh pits and stuff. And they'd participate. They were good lads. We've seen a few African Muslims convert in our church, and we've seen heaps of Iranians convert. And I converted in New York City. I converted a Muslim dude, cab driver. He was awesome, man. We were like, must have been a Sunday night. We went to Hillsong Church at like fucking our church. Last church service in New York City is at like 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night. Like they have something like 12 services on a Sunday. But anyway, went to that church, and then it's pretty good. It's like an Aussie church. They're all across America. You look them up, Hillsong. They're pretty good. And we went to the church. Then we went to Hell's Kitchen for drinks, and then we caught a cab back to Times Square, and that's where I was talking to this Muslim cab driver, and he was like, oh, we were talking about Abraham because I've read the Quran a few times, studied through it. I know what to talk about to win these guys over, and we were talking about Abraham. Anyway, you don't want to hear about all the theology that won him over, but yeah, he's like, this is very interesting. And he's like, how do I become a Christian? And I'm just like, mate, confess with your mouth, Jesus, confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, Jesus is Lord, and you'll be saved. That's what the Bible says. And I was like, just get a Bible, dude, and go to a church that preaches about Jesus. And he's like, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I'm like, all right. He's like fucking pulling my hand back into the cab. I was like, yeah, no worries. See you, mate. That's a funny story. And then like the funniest weird thing is, then my missus and her friend, they jump out of the cab and they were walking ahead of me, and I was still talking to old mate. And then we're walking, and you know how the dudes in New York City, they have like kebabs or gyros. It's like some Arab food. Muslim dudes are manning that. I'm about I'm about 15, 20 meters behind them, and these Muslims are like, hey baby, and like called my wife a slut, and this our friend, maybe it wasn't a slut, they called him the equivalent of being dickheads. I'm like, oi, what the fuck do you want, dickhead? Almost gotten a punch on with these Muslims. But there was like cops there. Just there were cops, and they were just like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh shit, nothing. Don't want to get arrested. So I let it go, kept moving. But I did say, I was like, hey, I just converted one of your Muslim mates, cab driver, just down the road there, and they were so fucking angry. It was retarded. Yeah, I go out of my way to try to talk to Muslims, wake them up. Most of them aren't that bad, you know what I mean? You could have a decent conversation with them. I reckon you can win them over if you know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm out, Dusty. Got to take on my own thirsty Thursday. Cheers, mate. Sweet. Anyway, we'll finish this article. That was a bit of a mad tangent story about Muslims. You get that on this channel. Anyway, so why is Tommy Robinson guilty of contempt? YouTube restrict Tommy Robinson's channel. I don't know. Yeah, in September of that year, Robinson complained BBC News of town centre was plagued by Islamic extremists. Those are our town centres, and we want them back. A demonstration that chant Muslim bombers off our streets could often be heard. The EDL was a new far right front, but Tommy denied he was racist. He freely admitted to have flirted with the British National Party until he discovered they objected to his black friends. Later, yeah, I heard about this. He was like, oh yeah, British National Party. Oh, they might be right. And then I think he went there with his mates, and then this British National Party, like, them lads can't come in. They're not British. He's like, what? These African boys? They're fucking more British than most of these lads around this neighbourhood. If they're not coming in, I ain't coming in. Pretty sure that's the story. And Tommy was like, F you then. Don't want no part of any of your business. So Tommy's straight up being like a good guy, eh? Straight up. He flirted with the British until they discovered they objected to his black friends. Later, he was convicted of assaulting one EDL follower who he accused of being a neo-Nazi infiltrator. Whoa! So he literally punched a Nazi. Antifa should be proud of him. Or as he put it at the time, a degenerate mug. But he also perpetuated and spread far-right myths such as a claim that Muslims are statistically, of course, to outnumber Europeans this century. Statistically on course to outnumber Europeans this century. Well, they're having a high rate of babies. They come from, if you migrate from the third world, anyway, like you think about it, Catholics used to have a lot of babies, right? Catholics were known for having a lot of babies. And Muslims are known for having a lot of babies, right? But here you go, you got first generation migrants coming in who can't really speak the language. They're uneducated. So what they do is they come in and they're like, oh, this welfare system pays you to have babies. Great. We can just get public housing and be on the welfare. Laughing, mate. Of course it's happening, mate. They're having more kids than any other demographic. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, maybe African Christians have big families and Pacific Islanders, but Indians and Asians and Latinos and Europeans, we're probably like pretty similar. Our family sizes are like 1, 2, or 3 kids, which, like, some might have none. This is the thing. This is what I always say when you think about it. You look down your street and it's like, my neighbor, this neighbor across the road, he's got 3 kids. The ones on the other side, it's like they're like some weird lesbian lefty cat mum, right? She's got 0 kids. The house next to me, they've got 2 kids. And then the house on the other side have 1. So you got 4 families. One had 1 kid, one had 3, one had 2, and one had none. So you've taken 8 adults to create 5 children. Do you know what I mean? So you have a reduction in the population. Each generation is having a reduction because not everyone has kids. Some only have 1, some only have 2. It's pretty rare to have 3 children. You know what I mean? I don't have any kids yet, but we're saving our money and we're ready to go. Soon it's going to be happening. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Looking forward to it, man. But yeah, I reckon that's just natural. There's a thing that's happening in our culture, and the reason why we're not having as many children as we used to, I think, because it's just a result of materialism. We love our lifestyle, enjoying life, man. We're putting off kids because we want to go on holidays and have nice stuff. We want to be responsible with our finances and, have a decent lifestyle. We want to give our kids a better life than we have. We want to have our shit together before we have a family. And then by the time we get that happen, we're probably like 30. The biological clock's not quite there for women. They're only having 1, 2, or 3 children. And it's just a matter of, I reckon it's the result of a successful capitalistic nation that we're like, awesome, look at all this cool stuff I can have. All these holidays, nice cars and things. And so we're happy to voluntarily have a smaller families to have the lifestyle. Essentially, that's all I reckon's happening. And then you're bringing in people from the third world who are like not used to the materialistic awesomeness of capitalism, and they're like, oh shit, the only way I can make money is by knocking up the missus and getting on the welfare. I reckon that's what's happening. Dylan D, I'll jump in the comment section. Hey, Dusty, you're selling your shirts now. How do I get one of those? Go to dustybogan.com and there's a Teespring. There's a link to my Teespring site. You can look in the description section below. Merchandise store. Teespring. Here we go. Copy link address. Hang on a minute. copy link address. I'll post this in the comment section. Get one of my shirts. If you're from Australia, oh shit, what the hell's this? I don't think that worked. I don't think that link. Oh yeah, nah. I don't think that link worked. Go to dustybogan.com and there's the Dusty Bogan store on there. You can buy shirts. But if you're from Australia, hold off because I'm gonna launch an Australian store because it'll be cheaper for postage for Australia and New Zealand. But the Teespring store's probably reasonably priced for Americans. In the UK and Europe and Canada and all them. I'm in America, so I hardly catch these live. Keep on fighting the good fight. Thanks, mate. Awesome, dude. Literally doing God's work. Yeah, okay. Thanks, dude. I'm in the army. I speak Farsi. I think that's how they say it, which is the language Pashto, which is the language of Afghanistan. Most of the teachers are Muslim and seem like good people. Yeah, I reckon Muslims are quite decent. Some of them. I think most Muslims are just like, I don't think it's like the George Bush thing and the Obama thing, how they were like, Islam's a religion of peace. Because most Muslims probably don't even read the Quran or look at it that way. They are like invested into the culture and the tradition of things. And I think that for that part, they're quite decent. But we need to be careful that they don't read the Quran, because that's when we're going to get into a tough spot. And we go, holy fuck. You just can't go around killing people. Remember how John Connor said that to Terminator, to the T-1000? Yeah, the Muslims think that they go to paradise for killing an infidel. That's the most dangerous part. They can be Muslims and enjoy the culture and tradition of it. And, the growing the beards and having a headscarf and not eating pork or drinking and praying 5 times a day. Nothing wrong with that. Or halal meat. There's nothing really wrong with that. I don't care about that stuff. That's fine. Just don't go around killing people. What up, DB? I've got a Muslims have zero real morals. Yeah, I don't think they really have like a system of they don't get the moral standards like atheists and Christians. I think for the most part, atheists and Christians get our morality the same way. It's like Jesus said, do to others as you'd have done to yourself. The golden rule, Socrates and Confucius said the same thing. And I think atheists get their morality the same way. It's like, that hurt. Ow. And then you go, oh, yeah, I know that hurt me. I'm not going to treat other people that way. I'm going to treat people how I would like to be treated. And that goes emotionally with their emotions and physically. That's a great way to get our morality. Know what I mean? But I don't think the Muslims don't actually have a system like that. It's like, I don't know where the philosophy for them. I don't know if they have a statement like Jesus said or Confucius or Socrates. You know what I mean? Sleep sheep to the slaughter. Yeah. Anyway, I'll finish this article and then we can. I can go get on with me day, man. Where was I? Each event appeared. Yeah. So like they were saying here that Tommy Robinson perpetuates the spread of far-right myths such as a claim that Muslims are statistically on course to outnumber Europeans this century. I don't believe that is a myth. I believe if you look at the maths, there's no need for us to bring in, like, there's this idea where we have to bring in, it's like I was saying, we're having less, each generation isn't having enough children to economically replace their parents. There's more grandparents and parents than there are the next generation. So the economic idea is like, oh well, we need a tax base to pay we need the working people to provide the tax revenue to provide for the pensions for these people moving into retirement. Okay, the answer is mass migration. You know what I mean? That's what's happening. But I don't believe that we don't need to do that. Japan's not doing that. They're in a worse situation than Western nations. And I think Singapore and South Korea are in the same spot, and so is the east coast of China. The only reason China has a balanced population with, I think it's slight growth, is that the people who the more rural parts of China are having more babies. The more modern part of China, well, I think it's all the same thing. It's the materialistic, the fruits of, dare to say, even for the east coast of China, they have the fruits of capitalism, in a sense. But definitely Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, they all have the same problems. They're having less children. But them nations aren't. The answer is not mass migration. So we don't need to do that, because I think we can see through manufacturing and automation, and technology, we can streamline things. We could come up with other solutions other than mass migration. Though I don't really have a problem with Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jews, Catholics, any religion other than Islam. I'm quite concerned about. There's only 3 cultures I'm worried about. The Nazis are dead. They're gone. They don't exist. The Nazi party was destroyed. So we only have to worry about the communism, radical Islam, and another stupid one is the gang mentality. It's like that African American culture where they just fucking murdering each other. The other 3 things we should be like, hang on a minute, they're not functional in society. We should be worried about that. They say Islam kills more Muslims than anything. Muslims should be worried about radical Islam. Exactly. We know that's true. African Americans who are engulfed in this gang mentality culture, they're killing more of each other than anyone. Communism, how many 120 million people have died under communism in the last 100 years? Mate, I'd be concerned. It's our duty to point out the flaws of these philosophies and go, ain't really good there, lad. Not good for you. It's worse for them. We have a moral obligation to undermine them cultures. They're just ideas. Terrible fucking ideas. The shit. Not interested, man. Hey, looks like Black Ones is here. Each event appeared to draw big. Here we go. Where the fuck am I gone? Where am I gone? I think I lost myself, man. Anyway, looks like I'm gonna have to go. Black Lungs is here. Hang on, man. I'll put the link to this article I'm reading right now in the comments section below. It's probably worth a read. They talk about. Oh, hang on. Maybe that was just someone. It was someone delivering something. I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. I'll finish this article. Black Lungs got to drive me around today. Got his driver's license yesterday. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, man. Anyway, each event appeared to draw a bigger crowd. By 2011, the group had gathered significant support to promote police to close Luton Town Centre for a day to facilitate the EDL's homecoming protest, but Robinson's campaign was also unravelled because of his inability to control his followers. or his own behaviour. Later that year, he received a 12-month community rehabilitation order after a massive football brawl between supporters of his beloved Luton Town FC and those of Newport Country. So they had like a soccer faction fight, and he got a 12-month community rehabilitation order. They sound fucking cool, eh? How cool is this guy? He led his followers to a chant of the EDL, "Till I Die." Oh, holy fuck. So they're punching on over soccer. These guys are awesome, hey? And that's the funny thing. Like, do you ever see them? I often see on YouTube, and it's like they're driving past the park, and there's all these Muslims praying, and it's like, look at Europe, look what it's turning into. It looks terrible. Don't get me wrong, it looks fucking bad. But the thing is you go look at a soccer game in Europe. Fuck, it makes them Muslim prayer groups look like nothing. If you go to a music concert or a fucking soccer game, it makes them prayer meetings look like nothing. You know what I mean? Uh, where was I? Where's my article I was reading? uh, yeah. In January 2013, Robinson was jailed for 10 months for traveling to the United States on someone else's passport. Is that actually true? He was jailed for 10 months. I didn't know that. Anyway, I probably went before I started really following him. And maybe he wasn't so famous at the point he had to worry about Muslims trying to murder him in prison. Um, he traveled to the United States on someone else's passport in an attempt to sidestep an entry ban. The time in prison began to take its toll. He began to question what he was doing. When he was released, Robinson quit the EDL, saying he had no longer felt he could keep at bay extremist elements within the organisation. He told the BBC in October in 2013 that he wanted to lead the revolution against Islamic ideology, but not a revolution against Muslims. Seems like he's always had the balance about right, eh? And I think like maybe what he should be saying, I don't want to. It's not like about the race of the person. It's just the dangerous ideology of Islam itself that's dangerous. Nothing wrong with Middle Easterners or Africans, eh? Like when I first came a Christian, my first youth leader, dude, he was Indian. So that's pretty close to Pakistani, right? My fucking stepdad, for a bit, he was Egyptian. This bloke, Victor, was going with my mum when I was young. And he was a top bloke. He just had a divorce, so he was a bit heartbroken. And from that still, and the relationship didn't work out with my mum. But that dude, he was Egyptian. He bought me my first car. He was Orthodox Christian. Uh, my mate who I used to do weights with, he was Goran. That's his nickname anyway. But he was Egyptian, and he got me. I got massive gains when I worked out with him for probably like 2 years. Got benching like probably only maxed out at 110 or something. Bench 110 kilos. So like clearly, and I've got heaps of African mates. So like yeah, they might be the main demographic of Middle Easterners, Indians, North African Africans, and then maybe Indonesians. I got my mate, Indonesian mate from work. I used to work with. He was a great guy. So it's not a racial thing. It's just the radical ideals part of it. And Tommy's right in that. Grooming gangs, but that apparent conversion, assisted by a Muslim-led anti-extremist think tank, didn't last long. In January 2014, Robinson was jailed again. So maybe this assisted by a Muslim-led anti-extremist think tank. They should give you the name of that think tank, because hopefully they can help reform even Muslims. You know what I mean? Robinson was jailed again, this time for 18 months for his part in a complicated mortgage fraud. When he was released, he appeared angrier, but also more focused. In a speech in the Oxford Union later that year, his target became clear. He focused on sexual grooming gangs from predominantly Asian background, which is Pakistani backgrounds, as they actually mean. He accused the police of facilitating the rape of children for 20 years because they were afraid of being called racist. He's absolutely right. I worked with an English guy, and his wife was raped by Muslim gangs when she was 13. And this was like back in the 70s or something. She wrote a book about it. Um, we have a two-tier police force that treats crimes within the Muslim community differently, he said. He became obsessed with his belief that Muslims were predisposed to violence because of the Quran. It was his ticket to a new way of making money. He attempted to set up a British wing of Germany's anti-Islam party, Pejidai. I don't know if that's how you say it. In one January 2016 speech in Denmark, he warned about a military invasion of Europe as hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees, many fleeing the Islamic State terrorist group, sought asylum from war in their country. Time to send them back. They should have just given them, this is my answer, temporary protection visas. We did it in Australia for the Sri Lankans, and now we've sent them all back. Sent heaps of them back. And that's the go. I reckon you give them a 1, maximum 2 years temporary protection visas for refugees. You're only here part-time. Learn some skills and go back to your nation and make it better. When things calm down, we can you can go back. That's a good solution. Where we go? The obsession continued. Where was I? Tommy Robinson predominantly used Twitter and Facebook to promote his new era. His film and post increasingly came with an appeal for donations via PayPal, Bitcoin, or other routes. And the cash came in, and once people were invested in Tommy, they'd come back for more. Tommy's a legend. I'll fucking donate money to him for sure. I think it's TR News you can find. That's his website. It's pretty decent. Robinson slowly but surely became a leading far-right global brand that attracted interest from across the Atlantic, and he struck gold. The internet is awash with far-right and far-left website, blogs, and channels. One of the most successful on the right has been the Rebel Media, a Canadian outfit run by an conservative as Levant. As Levant's pretty cool. Geez, this just tells you the whole history of Tommy Robinson. It's pretty good. Levant has been accused in his home country of perpetuating a paranoid and delusional conspiracy theory. That is that the world's liberal elite are complicit in hiding the truth about Islam. He raises money of millions of dollars from his audience and and support from wealthy US backers. They include Robert Shaleman, the head of the multi-billion-pound US technology firm. Sweet. I want to work for Rebel Media if I get my shit together. Nah. Dreams can come true. Mr. Levant employed Robinson and launched him in 2017 as Rebel's fellow UK correspondent. Material seen by the BBC indicated Rebel was so well financed that Robinson earned a salary that at times touched more than $10,000 a month, with additional funds for a 3-person filmmaking team. Yeah, well, the guy is like awesome. I reckon that's like completely reasonable. He's actually got it, man. His brief was to produce provocative and emotional films that would enrage his audience by exposing the truth about how liberal elites were hiding the truth. He'd highlight stories where he claimed ordinary white working class people in the UK were becoming second class citizens. And that would be true for all working class citizens, not just white. Become second class citizens to the Muslims. Stuff, you know what I mean? Um, while Robinson and the rebel media later partnered in a row over his inability to raise enough cash for Levant's ambitions rather than himself, the filmmaking approach stuck rather, yeah. So what? It, they 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 parted ways in a row over his inability to raise enough cash for Levant's ambitions. Huh. Anyway, I reckon that was good for Tommy Robinson to get it to work for Rebel Media for a while. One film concerned the killing of 3 London teenagers who were hit by a drunk driver who was also using cannabis. The driver was Asian with a Hindu heritage. He pledged guilty and was jailed. Oh. I reckon that's bullshit. I bet you he done heaps and heaps of them and they just pull that one out. You know, whoever's writing this article, it seems quite fair and balanced. That just seems like they're saying the truth, but you got to pick up on all the shit, man. You got to pick up on it. Know what's going on with these people who spin their articles. I'll jump in the comment section for a little bit. Where are we? I'm losing where we are. Tommy Robinson should seek asylum at a US embassy. I know, he should have just done that. Would have been so funny. No such thing as Islam. Phobia is called self-preservation. It's called self-preservation. Yeah, and everyone should be able to self-preserve their culture and tradition. Not a bloody problem with that. The only problem I have is if someone's like a supremacist and they're like, I'm the best, I'm better than anyone. I was reading an article today about that lesbian you know, the US fucking soccer team, the co-captain, that lesbian bitch. And she was like, gay people are better than straight people. She's a gay supremacist. What a nutcase. Yeah, I have a problem with like supremacist ideas. But no, supremacist when it comes down to like racial supremacy. But there is supremacy when it comes to ideas. There are some better ideas that are better than others. The fruit of our loins. Free speech is not allowed in Gulag. Can you give Charlie Baker a shout out? Charlie Barker? Don't know who that is. King of the Melbourne market. No worries, mate. Went to the Tommy rally. Yeah, Ben Winters. I'm going to post that next. I've got an old video from that. Went to the Tommy rally in Brisbane. Tommy will bring down the UK vampire elites. Haha, bloody oath, mate. I was at that rally in Brisbane too. It was awesome. Hey, Dusty, you should come up to Maine, USA and do some shots with me, bud. You ever shot full automatic guns before? No, I've never shot full automatic guns before. I'm so keen to, but maybe when I go to Thailand next, I'm going to shoot some machine guns. I work for a venue. The Seventh-day Adventists use mostly Islanders and Africans. Nice guys. I work in a venue the Seventh-day Adventists use mostly Islanders and Africans. Yeah, Seventh-day Adventists are pretty cool. All right. Let me keep rolling down here. You're not a bogan. You got clothes on. Yeah. Yeah. Funny you mentioned the Muslim grooming gangs. How about the priest and the sexual abuse in churches? Why does Tommy highlight them? Why is he targeting a specific race and religion? Well, I think the mainstream media and all of us go hard after the pedophile priest. Like every Christian is like, our children are the victims of these pedophile priests. We hate them. Hang them up. Send them to jail. We're all saying that. So the Christians are critiquing their own church. We're not seeing that from the Muslims. They're not self-critiquing their own people, are they? So you got to get that right, man. Got to get that right. John's Nuff. If that was the right guy. No. Black friend Colin. That's how you say it. Suck it, name this stuff. Tommy may say he's not racist, but what he says only blames Muslims create racial hate. Muslim Islam is an idea, so it's a religion, man. It's a philosophy that can be critiqued, and it's wrong. We can't say what's wrong is right. You can't say what's evil is good. We're gonna say no fucking way. This is disgusting. I think there is enough pedo priest talk. Literally every comedian, it seems, has done a bit on it. Exactly right. Everyone's undermining the pedophile priest. Every Christian's undermining pedophile priest. Every leader, they're all like, "Holy shit!" I think what happened was a lot of these predators were like, "Yeah, I want to work around children," and they're like predators, and they position themselves to be around kids, and they take advantage of it. And we've all been real stupid because we know the pedophile thing. It's been in like the fucking, like the scouts and all these. Um, it's not just in churches, right? But I reckon these predators have gone and targeted these groups, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we need volunteers. You want to volunteer? Thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. You can volunteer." And then these people have ended up being predators and taking advantage of the situation. But there's nowhere in the Bible that justifies. There's nowhere in the Christian New Testament where there's any justification of. It's all about sex inside a marriage. That's the outworking of people's sexuality, heterosexual monogamy. So any pedophilia is in despite of Christianity. But the thing is with Islam, Muhammad married Aisha. Wasn't she 9 years old or something? Didn't he consummate? I think she 6 when he married her, and he consummated when she was 9. That's pedophilia. It's justified in the Quran. That's the difference, bro. That's the difference, mate. The Bible, there's no pedophilia mentioned. It's any pedophilia is in despite the scriptures. Then people are fucking not representing or following the Bible at all. They're criminals, right? They're criminals. And the weird thing is with Islam is they're just following Muhammad's example. Muslims in the UK are the only ones causing chaos. Yeah, and all the other migrants, you look in Australia, we've only got there's Muslims who keep trying to do fucking terrorist attacks. And luckily enough, we've foiled heaps of them. And then yeah, you have the African youth gangs down in Melbourne who are doing fucking stupid home invasions and stealing cars and bashing people and robbing them. That's fucked. And this is why I always say I hate the African American gang culture because that's what these young African Australians have been brainwashed into thinking it's cool, man. I want to be cool. So they fucking do this stupid, retarded shit. They need to get new heroes. You know what I mean, man. Yes, because it goes on, thousands of children families sent sent to churches in the Vatican. It's widespread more than anything you can imagine. I was listening to a dude who said something about like the Catholic culture, that you know how they have celibacy. They were like, oh, the church, maybe the priests and the nuns were having, having heterosexual sex, and they're not supposed to. So the church came good at hiding all this shit. And then when like someone was a pedophile, and they were like, fuck, what are we going to do? And they just hid it the same way they hid the heterosexual interactions, which is fucking disgusting. And I probably like built a culture of secrecy, which like, let's fucking expose that, undermine it, and let's make sure it never happens again. It's fucking disgusting. And I think we should throw these pedophile priests in prison for life. Just do it. Throw them in prison for life or give them a death sentence. Problem solved. Set the example. And that's myself as a Christian saying that. And where are the Muslims saying stuff like that? Heaps of Christians are like, this is fucking disgusting. It's not all about Tommy Robinson. It's about setting a precedent to all members of the public not to post anything on Facebook about any Muslim raping children or anything. Yeah, that's a really good point. Random videos. That's probably exactly what this is about. It's like about, buddy, undermining. It's about undermining, buddy, people's ability to. It's about silencing people critiquing Islam and critiquing these pedophile rings. And it seems like they just keep protecting pedophiles. It doesn't matter who they are. It's fucking disgusting. And you think like when it comes to like them somehow trying to protect pedophiles, I think it's kind of fair. Like even in the past, I've said, hang on a minute, the judges, the courthouses is, the police arrest pedophiles and rapists, right? And the police want them fucking life imprisonment. Police want the death sentence for them, but it goes to the courts and they give them a slap on the wrist. So the problem's in the courthouse. The problem is the judges. And so what they've done to Tommy Robinson is they're protecting the courthouse. They're protecting the judges. Where all these fucking, that's where it's all happening. This is where the slap on the wrists are happening. It's not fucking good enough. And they're protecting their little pedophile rings, you know what I mean? Because maybe they're all guilty of it. That's why they're protecting it. Because these judges are probably pedophiles, and the politicians and judges might be pedophiles, so they're protecting their own little buddies. How's that for a conspiracy? Why are the ISIS weapons US made? Yeah, it's because Saudi Arabia gives them to them, I reckon. That's why Trump dried up the money from Saudi Arabia, because the Saudi Arabians were just fucking, all these rich oil barons were just giving Saudi Arabia cash money and fucking buying pretty much American guns. Mostly Russian and Chinese weapons, someone's saying. Grab a VB. You are a legend, sir. I know. It's 10:40. So what, we must be going for 50 minutes now. Where are we on there? No. Oh, this article's quite fucking massive. So this is going through the history of Tommy Robinson demonstrations, but Tommy Robinson film was headlined "Three Boys Tragedy or Terrorism." There has been no evidence of a terrorism motive, but that didn't stop him specifically. I think this is talking about case above, it's clear that these families have been systematically failed and lied to by the police, he said. In his piece to camera, I can't be 100% certain that there was a terrorist attack. If there was a terrorist attack and cover up, I could be looking at so many more terrorist attacks than we could ever have imagined. Yeah, I reckon they cover up terrorist attacks. If they can, they'll cover it up. They don't want mass unrest and people taking the law into their own hands. They have to appear like they're in control, at least, the government. The mother of one of the three teenagers has since been part of demonstrations against the authorities demanding the truth be told. Along the way, Robinson self published a second book called Muhammad's Quran. I've got that over there. Why Muslims Kill for Islam. Do I have that right here? Don't know. I'll have to find it, man. Why Muslims Kill for Islam, which was co-authored with his co-author. He wrote, "If you are a Muslim, please put this book down. We do not wish you to become a killer because this book leads you to understand the doctrine and history of Islam more thoroughly." And that's what I was saying. We don't want the Muslims to read the Quran. This is why George Bush and Obama and Hillary and the mainstream media keep saying religion of peace. They want to, it's like reverse psychiatry. They want to trick them into thinking it's a religion of peace because they don't want them to read the Quran. Anyone who studies the Quran becomes fucking radicalized. Tommy Robinson's Facebook page, the center of his publishing and fundraising, eventually accrued 1 million followers. Some have sought to dismiss Robinson as a shoddy former hooligan, but that is not a view shared by security chief. While the English Defence League faded, brand Tommy became more and more trusted by his supporters. Darren Osborne, who drove a van to worshippers at a North London mosque in 2017, appeared to have been a follower. Well, Tommy Robinson's never incited that kind of violence at all. So they have to put that shit in these articles because this is obviously written by a left wing nutcase. Gotta understand that, man. They did the same thing when the Guardian wrote an article about me. They were like, Dusty Bogan, he's interviewed Blair Cottrell, and then the guy who shot up the mosque in New Zealand said something or followed Blair Cottrell. So they somehow tried to create a link between me and that. So that's what they've just done here with Tommy Robinson. It's bullshit. It's not really nice, man. It's an outright lie. Osborne has been shocked by a BBC drama about the sexual abuse of vulnerable girls by predominantly Asian men. In Rochdale, he went online to find out more, and evidence at his trial revealed that a rambling note he left in the cab of his van was seemingly inspired by Tommy Robinson's words and causes. Robinson and his supporters were enraged he was being accused of indirect or causing the attack. It lifted a new media profile further. Yeah, how stupid are they? They try to do this to undermine him, and then it lifts his profile further. Then in May 2017, he committed his first contempt of court. Robinson turned up at Canterbury Crown Court and filmed degenerates in a grooming case. The judge said the filming could have derailed the trial. He sentenced Robinson to 3 months in prison, suspended for 18 months, but a year later Robinson was back, this time outside Leeds Crown Court to do the same again. He filmed for more than an hour discussing a trial that was subject to reporting restrictions and approaching some of the defendants in confrontational scenes. The broadcast went out live to a Facebook audience of 10,000 followers and was watched 250,000 times. Overall, Robinson was arrested at the scene and the judge. Yeah, so that takes us to the first time Tommy went to jail. So maybe this is where we're up to date now. What was this? His supporters were outraged. Ezra Levant's chief of rebel media organized a fundraising campaign, and it worked. The wealthy U.S.-based Middle East Forum, which describes itself as working to protect Western civilization from the threat of Islam, helped pay for lawyers. They won an appeal for Robinson to be released and the case to be reheard in full at the same time. According to individuals with insider knowledge, the donations online revenue rolled in and Tommy Robinson became personally wealthier than before. Well, that's life, mate. So yeah, we're just getting down to, by late 2018, Robinson has been thrown off major social media platforms for breaking hate speech rules. He has been banned from PayPal. He later revealed his income had fallen by 70%. The level of dedicated rather than casual support started to appear fragile. And when he ran to be an MP in the Northwest, he was humiliated, getting just 2% of the vote and losing his $5,000 deposit. Is that right? Deprived of the means of raising lots of cash, including from advertising around his films, he was literally begging for donation. He did so by presenting himself as his autobiography, as the persecuted enemy of the state. But his claimed persecutions came with a dark edge. When he was first in jail for the Leeds contempt in 2018, he wrote a letter to supporters. For a while now, I've been sure that I'll be murdered for opposing Islam, although now I sit here smiling with the belief that my murder would start a revolution, said Robinson. The supporters have repeated similar claims. He is their martyr in the making. One who lives in a country house. Blah blah blah. And that's it, man. That was a pretty fucking big article. I didn't realize how long it was going to be. I think it's fair and balanced. They end it by trying to undermine him. Of course, his income's going to drop by 70%, and he's been deplatformed. Thank God he has his website, Tommy Robbins, TR News. It's good he's got TR News there going, his website, and he's on Telegram. So follow him on Telegram and check out his website. You know what I mean, man. You know what I mean. Anyway, man. Here we go. 6 million innocent Muslims dead since the invasion in the Middle East. I don't see a single bomb or even town bomb, and you blame Muslims. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, well, I don't agree with them bombing. Look at fucking Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. They bomb fucking, we're going to pull out. We're going to stop these wars. Obama and Hillary, while they bombed fucking 10 Muslim countries and caused the migrant crisis. Stop bombing these people. But then it's like this weird thing. I would say pull out and give. I would consider giving visas to all the Christian and minority groups in the Middle East and be like, hey, you can get the fuck out of there. Get away from these Muslims. Let them kill themselves. 6 million English died across the world to get World, get your facts right. Oh yeah, so I'm out of I don't know. I'm reading this out of context. I'm getting it out. Oh, I'm losing it. All right, guys, we'll wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the donations. That was the earliest I've ever drank in my life. I got my first shot at 10 to 8:50. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And I'm going to do a live tomorrow morning, maybe 8 o'clock or something, after Revenge of the Sis, hopefully. Might have to do it early. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your donation. Support Tommy Robinson. Check out RT News. Check out his Telegram. I'm sure Avi Yemeni, who's a legend of an Aussie Jewish dude, he's going to be he'll be leading the charge in the campaign while Tommy's away for which hopefully is only 10 weeks apparently. So Avi Yemeni will be there to keep everyone in the loop, and hopefully they do more free Tommy Robinson rallies. I'll post up my video from last year's Tommy Robinson rally so you can check that out. Cheers, thanks for listening.